Okay, let's go. It might lag. All right. So if they ask you to do pre-tape EQ, you come to your pre-tape. You still have to EQ in. And depending on what frequency they give you, you just find it. If you're asked to EQ, if they want you to take 200 frequency, you have to first put it on 200 and then cut it by 9 dB. You cut by 9 dB. So you find 200 on your other side because it's a stereo signal, and you cut it by 9 dB. So you have your EQ in, you have your frequency set, and you have properly cut it pre-tape. So be sure to pay attention pre-tape. Actually, I'm so retarded. I gotta do that again. Keep recording though. Now you find your signal pre-tape. Here's where our signal is. If they ask you to take your pre-tape signal and EQ it, make sure you hit EQ in. Your EQs are active. If they ask you to take your EQ of 200, find the 200 frequency, and then they ask you to cut it by 9 dB, cut it by 9 dB. Don't forget to do your other side, find 200, then cut it by 9 dB. Now you've properly EQ'd pre-tape because this is your signal before it gets to the multi-track recorder, and you're good there. Now, to set up our headphone mix, we simply want to choose either phones 1 or phones 2. It doesn't matter. Let's assume you choose phones 1. We want to hit solo because this allows us to hear whatever the artist hears in the booth. And we need to find a source. And we're going to choose aux 3 and 4. So just hit your aux 3 and 4. We're going to turn our phones up so we can hear what music is going to it. We don't hear any music because we haven't turned it up on the signal side. So we come to where the signal is, and for the artist's headphones, we simply turn up 3 for their left side, and we turn up 4 for their right side. So now we've properly adjusted a headphone mix for the artist. The only thing you want to do and make sure you never forget is hit your pre. Once your pre is hit, this means that what we do in the control room will not affect the artist's sound. So even though I'm turning down the channel faders, it doesn't affect the artist because we made sure we pre'd our headphone mix. We always want to hit the pre down here below the 3 and 4 auxes. Never hit your pre up here with the aux sends that we'll use later. Always hit this pre for the headphone mix. We'll take that off solo. Turn ours down a little bit. Now, if we want to send the signals to a delay, we want to come over here to the patch bay. We have to remember that we're sending time-based effects through auxes 1 and auxes 2. So you're using aux sends. So we'll simply come and find console aux sends. We know we're working with aux sends 1 and 2. We tap in. We tap into 1 and 2, and in is always at the bottom. So in to 1 and 2. Actually, that's wrong. So edit that part out. Okay. So we're tapping into auxes 1 and 2. We want to send the signal out. So we're coming out from 1 and 2, sending the signal out from 1 and 2. And what you want to do is get the numbers of the equipment you're going into. The equipment we want to send our signal to is equipment that has the gear labeled 5 and 6. So we'll come over here. We'll come to our patch bay. We're coming out from 1 and 2 into gear 5 and 6. And to go into the gear, you go to the bottom side. So you go in 5 and 6. So you left 1 and 2, you put it into 5 and 6. But remember, once it goes in, it has to come out. So take it out from 5 and 6. And since it's a time-based effect, we want to bring it back on a spare channel. We'll take 5 and 6 and send it out to console line in. You can send it anywhere from 21 all the way through 32. The way we're set up at this moment, we're already using 29 and 30, so we'll just choose 21 and 22. Now, once you have it plugged in, you're sending signal to the delay, but you're only sending it at the point that you turn up aux 1 on the left and aux 2 on the right. Now you're officially sending signal. You routed it through your patch bay, but don't forget to turn up 1 on the left and 2 on the right to send it to the gear you're trying to use. As you send it, make sure you check your meter, because you don't want your meter clipping, because if you distort the delay here, it'll be distorted as it comes back, and we don't want that. There will be points taken off. So we have it coming in. It's coming back to our spare channels that we plugged it into, 2122. Like all things, we'll turn it up. It's still stereo, so we pan it and we assign it to our left-right mix. Now our signal has delay on it. If we want the mix, if we want the headphone mix to get it, we can solo what the artist hears. Solo what the artist hears. We come to where our time-based effect is, and we go up and we make the headphone mix pre as usual. And then you want to send the reverb to 3 and 4, which is their headphones. 3 on the left, 4 on the right. Now your artist has that time-based effect in their headphones. You can take it off solo and you're good to go. At this point, we want to talk about post-tape compression. If we're asked to compress the mix, we'll simply come here and look for main insert sends. Since we're asked to take the main sound, the main mix, we want to send that main mix. Since it's going to a compressor, we're still using an insert. So we're taking that sound, sending it out. And remember, to go out, you want to start at the top. We're sending it out to a compressor, which our numbers on the board are 3 and 4 for outboard gear. So we go in to 3 and 4. Again, that's out from the main insert sends in to 3 and 4, which in is at the bottom. And once it goes in, it has to come out from 3 and 4 compressor. And it has to go back into the main insert return. So main insert send out into the compressor, out from the compressor into the main insert return. So once we're in our return, we'll come over here to our compressor. We see that we're getting signal. We're already stereo coupled, but if you're not, make sure you stereo couple it. That way what you do on one side is automatically done to the other. We'll set our threshold to -10, our ratio to 3:1. We'll give ourselves a fast attack with a slow release. For our output gain should equal the sound that we had before we used the compressor. So we bypass the compressor. With this particular unit, you have to hit bypass on both sides, left and right. So we bypass it to hear what it sounds like. And so we need our signal a little bit quieter, so we'll take our output gain down. That's the bypass song without compression. That's with compression. And I'll turn it up a little bit. We'll wait till it comes back. When we bypass it, that's the level. When we use it, that's the level, which is the exact same level, so we have a good output gain set. Just remember, when you're bypassing and going back and forth, that you don't forget to leave it off of bypass, because you don't want to bypass the compressor, or else you really won't be using it. So that's how you set your levels there. The way that we're set up, the way that this system is set up, we can't do pre-tape compression, but if asked to do pre-tape compression, wherever your original signal is, if your original pre-tape source is on line 1 and 2, you'll come to console insert sends 1 and 2. You'll send